Okay, welcome to the University of Winnipeg virtual open house. We're here to for the webinar on the Faculty of Arts. And I am happy to welcome the Dean of Arts, Dr. Glenn Muleson, and Dr. Lloyd Cornelson as well, who will be speaking after as well. And then after both presentations, we will have some time for Q&A, so you can ask in the Q&A function, and I will help moderate that as well. And we're here for about an hour today, so I hope that that you are excited for this evening, and I'm sure that both presenters will have some great information for you. If at any time after the presentation you have questions that you would like to ask, feel free to send me an email. I can certainly guide you through the application process, or just send you to the person that would be best able to help you. And I will just put my email address in the chat, so you can copy and paste that and send me emails at any time. I will open it up to Glenn now. Thank you so much.
Great. So I'm very happy to be here, and welcome to all of you who are, I guess, watching me. It's good to have you here. I'm just looking at the participant numbers, and they're still going up a bit. So I'll just sort of stall. And I'm hoping all of you enjoyed the refreshments we left in the waiting room for you. Sometimes to go quickly, so I'm hoping you grabbed a cookie and the cold beverage. So I'm going to start. I'm going to share my screen. So who am I and what am I doing? So my name is Glenn Muleson. I am the Dean of the Faculty of Arts. I'm also a professor in the Faculty of Arts. My area is French, so I teach French. I try to teach every year, and this year I'm teaching a course in the history of the French language, which I'm enjoying very much. So the Faculty of Arts. The Faculty of Arts is one of 5 faculties at the University of Winnipeg, and sometimes I sit at recruitment events and open houses when we're in person, and I'm sitting at a table, and I get questions like, I don't like the Faculty of Arts, but I like psychology. Then I have to say, well, actually, if psychology is a program within the Faculty of Arts. Or I have someone say, I like to draw. Is this the Faculty of Arts? And no, that's the Faculty of Fine Arts. So today I'm going to talk about what is in the Faculty of Arts, what you can do within the Faculty of Arts, and there are a huge number of things we can do. So the Faculty of Arts is one of 5 faculties. However, what is not known as much is that it is, we are the largest faculty at the University of Winnipeg. So, you know, when people think about the University of Winnipeg, we are half of it. We have more than half of the programs of study at the University of Winnipeg. We have almost half of the professors. We have more than half of the courses. We are by far the largest of the faculties, and in many respects, we are as big as all of the other faculties combined. Like the other faculties are education, science, business and economics, kinesiology, I think I'm forgetting one, but we are a very, very large faculty. So it is very good for, and even if you're not, if you don't intend, or right now you're not thinking of, you know, the Faculty of Arts, you will end up most likely having to come and do courses within the Faculty of Arts, and I'll tell you why. So yes, we are again, although many of you right now may not be thinking of, you know, coming to the Faculty of Arts or studying arts. You're thinking of majoring in biology or in business, which is fine. The reality is that still today, 50% of the University of Winnipeg graduates every year are arts graduates. So sometimes when I do these in person, I ask the group who here intends to graduate with a Bachelor of Arts degree, and there's just like in a room of 50 people, 3 students who raise their hands, well, then I have to tell them, we know actually probably half of you will finish with an arts degree at the University of Winnipeg. So the faculty is sort of an umbrella for departments, and think of departments as the subjects that you are studying in high school. And we divide these subjects or departments in groups. And one of the large groups in the Faculty of Arts are the departments who fall under the category of humanities. What are humanities? Language departments, history, classics. Classics is the study of Greek and Latin and the civilization. Modern languages and literatures, that's sort of a catch-all for a number of languages. In the department of, that's my home department, so I know that. So in that department, we teach French, German, Italian, Spanish, and sometimes we've taught in the past Portuguese. Philosophy is within the humanities departments. Again, religion and culture, rhetoric, writing, and communications. That's the rhetoric, writing, and communications is a department that houses courses of academic writing, which most students who come to the University of Winnipeg have to take. So that's where you would take academic writing. Theater and film. Theater and film is the closest to what are sort of fine arts. So if you're interested in learning about acting, directing, or working behind the scenes as a director, and also of becoming a filmmaker, actually making films, that's the Department of Theater and Film. I know some universities study film. Theater, in our department, we do not study film, we make film. It's a department of filmmakers. And most, every year, you may see in town trucks filming movies, and there are many productions on stage. I would say that every one of those film productions, TV, those movies that you see on TV at Christmas time with the fake snow and so on, those are filmed within Winnipeg on a certain network. Most of those productions, stage productions in town and film productions, have some of our grads working and some of our professors. Whoops. Oh, I skipped social sciences. For some reason, I jumped to humanities. Whoops. So in addition to humanities, the second largest category of departments are social sciences. So social sciences, political science, psychology, and sociology. So those are two important categories, social sciences and humanities, and I'll get to that in a few slides. So social sciences, nice. For some reason, and so social sciences, humanities, and now we also have a number of departments that are sort of in between both. So that's what interdisciplinary means. So we have a Department of Indigenous Studies, Criminal Justice. Criminal Justice is a very, one of our very, very most popular programs. Even though it's not one of our largest programs from the point of view of the number of people who teach in it, criminal justice is one of our most popular programs with the most students. Our biggest programs, our biggest departments are history and English and psychology, which have like over 20 faculty members in each. Urban and inner city studies, that's a program that caters to underrepresented populations, and it's not here on the main campus. That office, that department teaches out of a building, out of a department on Selkirk Ave. So instead of trying to have students from that area come here, we have gone there and we partnered with organizations and we deliver that program over there on Selkirk Ave. And women's and gender studies. So departments are sort of the big units. Within those bigger units are programs. So biopsychology, as you can see, biopsychology is actually a program between two faculties. A part of it is taught by courses in psychology and others in biology. So it's sort of like a department that straddles a program that straddles two faculties and two programs. Dance, we have a dance program that we do in conjunction with the Manitoba Dance Company. I'm not sure if that's the right name, but we collaborate with them. Disability studies, that's in one of our departments as well. And the other ones, East Asian languages and cultures, we teach Japanese, Korean, Chinese, and that's within religion and culture. German Canadian, that's in history. Interdisciplinary linguistics, it's again a program that is part science, part arts. There are a number of courses in different programs in English and psychology and anthropology that are part of that program. And Mennonite studies is within history. So here is why, even if you are not considering to do a major in one of our programs, if, for example, you are definitely set on taking doing a major in biology or a major in kinesiology or a major in business, you still need to know what courses are being offered in the Faculty of Arts. Why? Because of this screen right here. So every University of Winnipeg student must graduate with 12 credits in humanities. So a few slides ago, I told you about humanities departments. Those are the language departments, history, philosophy, modern languages, and so on. So 12 credits, what does that mean? 2 full-year courses. Okay, so everyone, even if you're not within the Faculty of Arts, you have to come to the Faculty of Arts to take humanities courses. Also, students in the 4-year BA and BBA must graduate with 12 credits in social sciences. So if you're in the BBA program, Bachelor of Business Administration, you have to take social science courses. So that's sociology, political science, psychology. So those are part of the general degree requirements. Also, you may have heard, and we were one of the first universities in Canada to come up with this new degree requirement, what is called the Indigenous course requirement. That's one course, 3 credits. 3 credits means a half year. So every student at the University of Winnipeg must take a course that qualifies as an Indigenous course. 95% of those courses are within the Faculty of Arts. So I forget what the number is, but the vast majority of the courses that are ICR courses are within the Faculty of Arts, in the departments of history, English, Indigenous studies, of course. So again, most of those courses are in arts. You have to know about them. You have to know about the Faculty of Arts to take them and to finish your degree, and it doesn't matter what degree you're taking. What about high school prerequisites? I know in certain faculties, to be able to enter a certain program, you must have taken, I don't know, calculus in high school or some other math course or physics, whatever. There is no specific entrance requirement or admission requirements to take any major in the Faculty of Arts, okay? It is just the general requirements, the general admission requirements for university. There are some programs where you may be placed in a certain level. I know in my home department, there is a French major. And of course, if you have a certain level of French already, well, you're placed in a higher level than if you have no French whatsoever. You must start at the lower level, and there's actually a placement test. But in general, the general requirements for admission for university are the same in the Faculty of Arts. There are also at the University of Winnipeg a number of what we call pre-professional programs. And in arts, that's a reference to what we call pre-law and pre-social work. So what is pre-law? pre-law is just anyone can register at the University of Winnipeg and call themselves pre-law. You can ask to have that on your transcript to be, temporarily in a program called pre-law, but pre-law simply means I hope to apply to law school in a few years. Now, so I'm going to backtrack here. If you are interested in law school, the best thing to do is to go and visit the website of the law school you are hoping to get into, because every law school is different. If you are hoping to get into the University of Manitoba Law School, what is required, not to get into it, but to apply, is 2 years of university. What does that mean? It means anything. Like the University of Manitoba doesn't say you have to take this course and this course and this course. They say you are eligible to apply if you have 60 credits. In other words, 2 years of university. But here's the thing. Somewhere, not buried, but somewhere, if you keep looking at the University of Manitoba website, you will see that most of their applicants already have an entire degree. Why? Because it is very, very competitive to get into law school. I know that some law schools, I'm quite positive that law schools like Osgoode, which is at York University, U of T Law School, actually require a full degree. So, is it a good idea to, if you are planning to go to U of M Law School? Sure, try after 60 credits. But again, it is a good idea to finish a full degree, and a full degree at the University of Winnipeg, we have a 3-year degree. So why not spend an extra year, finish a 3-year degree, apply, then it increases your chances of getting into the program. And let's say you did apply after 2 years without finishing a degree, you go into law school at University of Manitoba. After 2 months, you say, what am I doing here? I should never have applied. I don't like law. Well, what do you have? You have 60 credits, you don't have a degree. So my advice to people who ask me about pre-law is, you know what? Finish the entire degree. It will help you. It will help your chances to get into a program, and actually more and more programs are requiring a full degree. Same thing with social work. University of Manitoba, I think requires simply 1 full year of university. But again, do as much as you can. But again, if you are interested in a particular school of social work, visit the website and see if they require special particular courses. As to how we prepare students for law and social work and so on, we always hear from those schools, including the one at the other university across town, that we do very, very well in preparing students to get into law school and social work. And we often hear that we prepare our students better than the students who go to the university over there that has those schools. Why? Because honestly, we have smaller classes. The biggest classroom at the University of Winnipeg is like 120, 130 students. We can't have classes bigger than that. There are some universities where it's 2 or 3 times that many students per class. We don't, and we can't. So the experience that we offer students is, I think, and most people think, better than at other larger universities. And we are told by people who run these programs like law and social work that we do very, very well in preparing our students. So there's always a question, I had this BA, what's the worth? What is it worth? What kind of job will I get with my degree in philosophy? I hear that, the philosophy factories are sort of closing and so on. So what will I do? Will I have to live in my parents' basement forever if I have a BA in philosophy? Well, there are statistics. So yeah, you hear often stories about, you know, arts grads not doing very well, but the statistics show the opposite. Okay. So when you look at professional leaders, you know, leaders, business leaders, politicians, 55% are graduates of social sciences and humanities. And for example, earnings of social science grads almost double within 13 years, similar to science grads, math and science. So there is very little, there is the evidence about the value of an arts grad is way more persuasive than, or should be way more persuasive than the actual stories you sometimes hear. And also, again, this isn't like philosophers talking about this. It isn't, you know, poets. The largest employers in Canada prefer the following skills over technical knowledge for entry-level jobs. Which skills? Sorry, my thing doesn't move here very quickly. These skills, okay? So the largest employers in Canada prefer these skills: relationship building, communication, problem solving, analysis. And those are the types of skills that we teach in the Faculty of Arts. I think I'm done. I think that was it. Yes, that was it. So thank you very much. And I'm more than happy to answer questions, I think, after the next presentation. So I'll stop sharing. Great.
Thank you very much for that, Glenn. That was great. So we have Dr. Lloyd Cornelson as well, who will speak about the Global College, I believe. And also I've been answering some questions in the Q&A as well. So continue asking your questions. And then both Glenn and Lloyd will be available to answer questions after the presentations. Thank you so much.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen here. Okay, hi, my name is Lloyd Cornelson. I'm the Executive Director of Global College, but like Glenn, I'm also a university professor. And in my area that I teach in is global citizenship. It's an introductory course here at Global College. But I'm also, I am a professor in the Faculty of Education, where I teach teachers about teaching for citizenship in global contexts, and where we talk about some of the more compelling issues of the day and today, that would be what's going on in the Ukraine. My presentation is not going to be a very long one because Glenn did a great job of addressing a lot of things that I was hoping to speak about. Global College, we do a lot of things at the university. We're under the umbrella of the University of Winnipeg, and we run 3 academic programs. 2 of them are master's programs. I'm not going to talk about them really. The Master's in Development Practice, which is a specialization in Indigenous development. And then we do a joint master's with the University of Manitoba on peace and conflict studies. But I'd like to spend a little bit of time talking about our BA in human rights. We're affiliated with the Faculty of Arts, where Glenn is Dean of, and a few things about this BA in human rights that is kind of critical to understand. First of all, we offer 3- and 4-year programs in the Bachelor of Arts in Human Rights. We offer local and international practicum and internships. And they're not really, we offer them, but they're also mandatory for the 4-year program, where you can do a local practicum internship at a human rights organization or non-government organization, or an international one anywhere in the world. Global College has a practicum coordinator who you would see once you're in your 2nd or 3rd year of the human rights program, who then sets up a practicum for you, again, locally or anywhere in the world. Hopefully the pandemic, by the time you get to 3rd year in human rights, if that is the choice you make, will be a distant memory, and we can travel internationally. Common question that Glenn talked about that we get an awful lot is what can you do with a human rights degree? Well, it's a pre-law degree. A lot of people take a 3 or 4 year degree in human rights before going on to law. You can use it for social activism and advocacy, working for human rights organizations and agencies, refugee organizations, and government agencies. So what is it? I don't have the stats with me now, but 80 to 90% of our human rights graduate have a job in the field a year or two after they graduate. Now, I've got a list of sample courses here, and it's important to talk a little bit about sort of the background to this degree program. It's the only human rights undergraduate degree program in Western Canada. And because of that, it attracts a lot of students from across the country, and indeed from around the world. Now, when this program was developed, together with Glenn's help, we looked at the last social studies course in high school in grade 12 called Global Issues, Sustainability and Citizenship. We looked at that course and we said, what is it that if you have an interest in this course, you might be interested in taking at the university level? And that is how we developed the program. And so the courses you see here, I'm not going to go through all of them, simply extend that grade 12 social studies course. A lot of interesting, compelling courses. You can go to the course calendar to view them. Excuse me. Just a couple of other things in terms of what some of our students say, and a few issues I'd like to bring your attention to. The first quote is by a recent student, Michelle Friesen, who did her practicum in Cambodia. This is obviously before the pandemic. And she says, I felt so lucky to complete my practicum with such a hardworking and committed group of people. This experience allowed me to put my classroom knowledge to work. So much of what we learn in classrooms is conceptual and theoretical, and it's important, but when people are actually working, in this case, working with human rights organizations on problems that are informed by conception of human rights, the knowledge of human rights becomes nuanced and more practical, and that's what Michelle is talking about there. Rachel Howgate, also a past student, chose to do her practicum locally, and she says working with local organizations, human rights types of organizations, made all the difference for her because it helped her sort of decide what types of human rights she was most important, that were most important to her in terms of the type of work she wanted to do when she graduated. And finally, a couple of our graduates, Brianne Leveley Heckart, she just finished, I think this is public knowledge, she just finished her law degree in Eastern Canada University, that will go unnamed. She was hoping to be a human rights lawyer working at the United Nations, and that is what she's endeavoring to do. But she says, overall, my time at Global College has truly given me the tools to make a difference in the world. A commitment to human rights gives rise to a conviction, a responsibility, and a passion to create a better tomorrow. Then Katrina Leclerc, some of you may recognize her name. Katrina Leclerc is now working in Ottawa at the Senate, at Parliament, the House of Commons. And what she said before she left for Ottawa is, I learned to be a compassionate, understanding, and thoughtful global citizen, realizing and acknowledging my privilege in all situations. Through the different opportunities offered to me by my professors, the Global College team, I have gained so much more than I could have hoped. And I guess this is the concluding thing I want to say about Global College. At Global College, there's a whole lot of opportunities. You can visit our website to engage on issues and pedagogies of global citizenship. We have a student council. And so there's a whole lot of opportunity to become involved in this type of work and these types of endeavors. And my last screen has the various places where you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Global College. If you have any questions following the presentation, following the Q&A with Glenn and myself, you can always visit our website and email Global College at University of Winnipeg. If there are any questions that I can answer, I'd be happy to do that. That concludes my presentation. Thank you for listening.
Great, thank you so much. Those were both very informative and exciting presentations. I think there's a lot of information for students and a lot of clarity on the beauty of the Faculty of Arts and all the wonderful areas that that one can choose to study. There are a few questions in the Q&A. I was able to answer quite a few of them, but maybe we can sort of answer them live together if anyone wants to just jump in. Sorry?
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, perfect. Okay. So there is a question here. I want to know the topics in year one in the BA, I'm guessing economics and finance program. My understanding is that is in the Faculty of Business, but maybe you could answer that, Glenn?
Yeah, I actually wouldn't. I couldn't. Okay. I just don't know because the move, although it's a BA, it's actually in the Faculty of Business and Economics. But here's the thing, and I sort of have a couple of comments. Maybe we'll answer a couple of other questions there in the same area. It's the idea of first year at university. So I know somewhere else, those courses are packaged into, I forget what it's called, year one, university one. And it's simply, in your first year, please experiment, please go out and take what interests you. It doesn't, I'm not saying it doesn't matter, but, and there was another question about, well, what happens if I decide to change majors? Do I have to commit to something? You actually don't. I think it is a good idea to declare a major early. Why? Because some departments give awards and bursaries and scholarships to students who are registered in their own major. So if you are an English major, that makes you eligible to receive awards, scholarships that the English department gives to its own majors. However, you don't have to declare a major. I think you are encouraged to declare a major. So in your first year, please take whatever you want, because the courses in your first year will all count towards any sort of degree, okay? So that's one thing. And another thing would be different types of requirement. One type of requirement can fulfill, sorry, one course can fulfill more than one requirement at the same time. So I did mention that there are general degree requirements that everyone at the University of Winnipeg must take, especially humanities courses and Indigenous courses. However, you can find a course, like if you fulfill, if you find in the Department of History, a course that fulfills the Indigenous course requirement, all history courses are humanities courses, right? So they will, one course could fulfill more than one requirement. It doesn't mean you have to, you know, do more courses than would be required. Okay, so keep that in mind. And also your first year, again, please take whatever you want. All courses would fulfill the degree requirements, basically no matter what you choose to take. I know it's like if you go to college, right? Not like my father was a welder, my brother's an electrician, they are tradespeople. The difficulty about if you go to learn a trade and you say, oh my God, I spent 8 months learning plumbing, I don't like plumbing, I want to become a welder. Well, your plumbing credits probably won't count towards your plumbing is plumbing, being an electrician is an electrician. And so it costs a lot of money if you change trades, because you have to start, I'm guessing, from the beginning every time. But at university, you know, the courses fulfill the requirements of most majors, because everyone at the university must take electives, must take general degree requirements. The third thing I want to say is about how well, and it just occurred to me after, about how well we prepare students for, and Lloyd spoke about, you know, human rights students doing very well in law school, because we prepare students very, very well for professional programs. a few years ago, one of the graduates from the Department of Criminal Justice applied to Harvard. Okay? And this student was one of the first students to be accepted at Harvard. So Harvard accepts, I don't know how many students the first time around, 30 or 40 students. This student was part of that first batch of students to be accepted that particular year from the Dean of Law of Harvard to say, please come to Harvard. And he went to Harvard. So again, that's just an example of how well we prepare. It doesn't mean, of course, that every graduate who comes out of criminal justice, who applies to Harvard Law School, will get into it. But again, we're very confident that we prepare our students well for whatever program they choose to do, or for whatever job they get as well.
Thank you for that, Glenn. That actually answered quite a few of the questions in the Q&A, so I appreciate that. This is one mostly, I think, for recruitment-wise. What if I don't have the funds to pay? Are there scholarships? Absolutely. So for international students, there is the President's Scholarship that you can apply for once you have applied for admission first. So you do need to pay the application fee, apply for admission. Once you've applied for admission, you can apply for that scholarship. We also have special entrance scholarships for both international and domestic students who are currently in high school and wanting to begin university right out of high school. So if, depending on your grades, 85% or above would qualify you for that special entrance scholarship. You can also contact awards@uwinnipeg.ca for more clarification and information on that. But certainly there are some scholarships available. We do not have full ride scholarships, which I know some people have asked about, but certainly there is money out there, and I encourage you to apply to any of those scholarship possibilities. Okay, I'll just kind of scroll down the list here. I was wondering what political science looks like at the U of W. Maybe I'll leave that to you, Glenn.
Political science looks very good at the University of Winnipeg. I know because my son graduated with an honors degree in political science last year. He's now doing his master's degree at McGill. And he's getting funding at McGill. He's teaching courses at McGill as a teaching assistant. And it turns out that at least 2 of his profs at McGill are from Winnipeg. So again, this just, so I'm sort of biased, I guess, because that's my son's program, but it just shows how well graduates have been doing for a long, long time, right? So my son is taking courses with a former graduate of the political science program at the University of Winnipeg, and he himself is doing very, very well at McGill. So the program itself, Poli-Sci, covers all the bases, Canadian political science, international political science. We also have courses in government relations. We also have a master's program, the Masters in Public Administration, which many people end up working for government and working on policy and so on. So Poli-Sci is a very, very good program. And yeah, so I can only say good things.
Awesome. We do have a political science fact sheet on our website as well. So if you go to uwinnipeg.ca in the search engine, just put fact sheets, and it'll actually bring up a list of all of our majors, including political science. And you can just read a quick overview on it there as well. But as Glenn said, it's a respected program, and people go far with that. Okay, so we have a question here from someone confused about the English language requirement, whether or not you need to write an IELTS or TOEFL or anything like that. Really, there are a few waiver options, and everything is listed on our English language requirement policy on our website. So if you have studied in Canada full-time for more than 3 years, then that could be your waiver option. So there are a few different options. If you would like to ask me specifically about your situation, you can send me an email. I put my email in the chat. And I can certainly look at your application and go further with that. So we have another question here. The economics and finance program can be done in either a BA or BBA, and the economics and finance content start in the second year. So I just want to know about the BA content in year one. Question there. So yeah, basically, in order to graduate with any major, with any degree in the university, you have to take a certain amount of courses across different disciplines. So in order to graduate with your BBA in economics and finance, you're not just taking economics and finance courses. You are taking other electives to complete your degree. And so I think that maybe answers your question. I think that if you wanted particular clarification on that, it's also good to note that as a student, you can always make an appointment with an academic advisor who can go through your best, most efficient path for you, for your path of study. And you also have your student planning tool in your web advisor as well. So, but I think between that and sort of how Glenn explained things a little bit earlier, I think that pretty much answers that question, I hope, for you. So thank you for that. When signing up for courses, how do we know the exact courses we would need to get a specific degree, like a psychology degree, for example? That's a very good question. So as I said, we do have a psychology fact sheet on our website, so you can take a look there at the specific courses required. We have the student planning tool. And again, I highly recommend that you make an appointment with an academic advisor just to make sure that you're getting the exact classes you need. Because to graduate with a degree in psychology, so Bachelor of Arts with a major in psychology, two people doing it at the exact same time may actually end up with very different courses when you look at their transcripts. There are specific courses that you do have to have. And then, of course, there's all your electives. And so that's kind of up to you and how you choose to go about that. So certainly meet with an academic advisor if you're unclear, and look at the fact sheet on our website as well that actually lists the courses that you need to take. Do either of the other panelists have anything to add to that, or is that pretty clear? Oh,
I see a few questions I can quickly answer here.
great.
One about how to declare a major. Of course, it's just a form, and you have to go to the department and have it signed. So that's an easy one. So there is a major declaration form somewhere on our website. An internship in, it says BA in criminology, but the BA is actually in criminal justice. We do have criminology courses in sociology, but if you mean the BA in criminal justice, an internship, the program does have a practicum where you go out and work in some area in town. I think, if you've been walking downtown, those people walking in pairs with red shirts, those are people doing the practicum in criminal justice, many of them, walking in the skywalk and so on. Creative writing, how does one want to become a writer? But this was an international student. We have a creative writing program. So if you want to become a writer, we have a whole program in the English department called creative writing. So those are the questions I saw. Quickly.
Thank you. Am I able to take courses I'm interested in every year if I don't want to overload, or if I don't want to overload my course load? Okay, so I think the best way to answer this is you can take as few as one course per term and as many as 5 courses, generally speaking, up to 30 credit hours. And you can absolutely spread that out. A lot of people for a 4-year Bachelor of Arts degree, they may take 5 or 6 years to complete. It's totally acceptable. For international students, you do have to be careful because you do need to be taking a minimum amount. I believe it's 12 credit hours in the fall and winter terms to keep up with your study permit. And then the spring term is optional. So depending on whether you're a domestic or international student, that answer will differ a little bit. But yes, you can spread it out and take a little bit longer to complete your degree. Thank you so much. But actually, I just finished my second year, first semester, and I want to know, applying as an international student, can I apply with the reports I have from the first year through my second year, first semester reports? So I'm guessing you're talking about transferring in as an international student, perhaps. If I'm not reading that question correctly, please feel free to email me and we can talk about it a little bit more thoroughly. But yes, you would transfer in, apply as a transfer student, submit your high school as well as your post-secondary transcripts, and we will assess from there. Typically, the admissions office for transfer students looks for a minimum of a C average from your post-secondary studies. And that really depends on the grading scale of the institution you're currently attending. So I hope that answers your question if I read it correctly. Do I have to wait to hear back from admissions and then apply for scholarships? No, as soon as you apply, as soon as you submit your application for admission, you will receive and pay your application fee. You will receive a student number. As soon as you have that student number, you can apply for scholarships. The application form link for the President's Scholarship seems to be broken. I've tried many times. Okay, so I'm not sure what's going on with that, but I can certainly look into that for you. If you could please email me, then I can certainly help resolve that and get back to you. Again, my email address is in the chat, g.borges@uwinnipeg.ca.
I can answer a general. I see a number of questions
Perfect.
related to this as well, and it sort of relates to my analogy, which may, like I said, my father was a welder, my brother is an electrician, but I haven't gone to trade school. But I'm assuming, and I'm hoping my analogy is correct here about, you know, if you want to be a plumber, you take plumbing courses. If you want to be a welder, you take welding courses. But at a university degree is different. If you are a political science major, not all your courses are political science. If you're a psychology major, not all your courses are psychology. So that is why it doesn't really matter what you take the first year, because if you're a psych major, you will take other courses. So the other courses other than psych will count towards a psych major, because a psych major includes courses from other areas. That's part of a university education. You are exposed to many different things, not just to psychology, or not just to biology or to business. So can I take a creative writing course if I'm a poli-sci major? Of course you can, okay? So if you are whatever major, because there are electives, because there are other requirements, not all your courses as a poli-sci major are in poli-sci, and the same goes for every major.
Great, thank you. Do I have to only take the Humanity Indigenous courses at a time, or can I take courses in my degree, Humanity Indigenous courses at the same time? Yes, you can take them at the same time, as long as you have the prerequisite course for the course that you want to take, then you can take it at any time during your degree and just fit it into your schedule. What are some other career choices for psych majors besides psychologist or therapist? I think I'll leave that to our panelists.
Yeah, I think actually it depends on what type of psych department one has. And our psych department actually doesn't focus on becoming a psychologist or a therapist. We actually have one, again, psychology is one of our largest departments. We have over 20 professors. We just have one professor who does clinical psychology. So that is a very, very small part of our psychology program. Our psychology program, in some universities, psychology is actually in the Faculty of Science. But we have psychology in the Faculty of Arts, but we do have science type people in there. So in our department, we do have people who study the brain, people who put electrodes on your scalp and hook you up to stuff and put you in an MRI and study your brain. So science people, We also have people who do, and it's funny because those people, I have my last name. If you take out the U in my last name, it's a very famous name. It's in the area of psychology, because if you Google most famous brain in the world, you will find my name, not my actual name, but my last name. Because there was a famous patient who was a memory patient, and it's actually, yeah, it's not a long lost family member, but yeah. So those people study someone who's sort of related to me. So we do have that type of psychologists, like the science type. And we also have people studying like social interactions and like behavioral and developmental type psychology, like studying the development of children. We have people studying abnormal behavior. I think that's still what it's called. So the Department of Psychology teaches in a number of areas, and actually psychologists and therapists, that's quite not one of our focuses, but I'm assuming if you can go somewhere else after doing a psych degree here and going elsewhere. So many of our graduates go on to do a master's degree in psychology or continue. Many of our profs are actually grads. So again, that shows like the success of our graduates. What other areas? People from psych get into teaching in the education system. But I guess the best, every one of our departments. So if you go to psychology, those people in psychology have developed a website where it talks about career opportunities and so on. So I would suggest, rather than my making a mistake here about what particular types of grads get into, just visit our websites. Like every department has a website, and they would be able to give you more advice on the types of careers that their graduates get into.
If I am able to explore both BBA and BA Economics and Finance, then for admission, which faculty should I apply for, as there are different tuitions? Great question. You can apply for either one, really. Your tuition is based on the courses that you select when you register for your courses. So it's not based on the faculty that you choose during your application. So you can choose either one. Again, if you have any questions further to that, you can always send me an email. How can I make an appointment with an academic advisor? Simple. You can email advising@uwinnipeg.ca. And you can also use the search engine on our website and just put academic advisor on that in that search engine, and it'll bring up an online form.
So one other thing about majors, you're not stuck in a major. You can do a double major, right? As long as you fulfill the requirements of a major, you can do two. So it's people do French, and you can do a French and psychology major. So there are so many combinations and so many opportunities based on whatever interests you to do many different things in the Faculty of Arts and in the Global College as well.
Will it be more expensive if you spread your classes out more? In the long run, it can be a little bit more expensive because there are fees that you pay per term and per year. So certainly if you take more courses within a term, you're only paying that fee once. So it can add up if you spread it out more. But tuition-wise, tuition is based just on the courses that you are taking. It's not based on term. So you might end up paying a little bit more if you spread out your degree from 4 years to 6 years, for example, overall, but not a lot more. Your tuition, like I said, is based on the courses you select. Okay. We are two brothers originally from Afghanistan. We have written our family book in English language, which is edited and ready to be published. Can the UW Literature Department help in publishing it?
The only thing I can say is that some of our profs in their creative writing program may know, I mean, there are publishers in Winnipeg, but they wouldn't be able to take that work and, you know, promote it or say it should be published. They would simply be able to say, here are places where you can submit your work to be published. Yeah. So it's not to the profs in that program will help you write or learn how to write, but the second part of that, where can I get published, or please help me get published, wouldn't be what we focused on. But they would know of venues where you could submit your work.
Can I just add to that? When that book is published, Global College would like to put it into our library.
Awesome. That's awesome. Thank you so much for that. I created my application in University of Winnipeg website. Do I need to upload my documents there or send them by email? Yes, upload your documents to your online application. If there is a document that the admissions office requires you to send it by courier or anything like that, they need to see the original. They will make a note on your online application and you'll be able to see that note, or they will send you an email. Otherwise, upload it to the application. If you send it by email without them requesting it, it will slow down your application. Is there a difference between a 3-year BA and a 4-year BA?
More courses. So it means a 3-year BA is 90 credits, meaning how many courses is that? 90 divided by 5? 6? 3? I'm blanking out here. So it's a year more of courses. So literally what that means is 30 more credits. Of course, if you read, it's just a number of courses. You can finish a 4-year degree in 3 years. It's just that you're going to be very busy in those 3 years to finish 4 years of courses. So a number of courses. So a 3-year degree, it's 90 credits. A 4-year degree is 120 credits. If you want to be very, very busy, you can do a 4-year degree in 3 years. It just means you'll do more courses per year.
For sure. And depending on the program that you are taking, a 3-year versus a 4-year degree might mean that in a 4-year degree, you'll have more time to sort of focus on a niche area of your subject. So there's that as well. So it really just depends on the degree that you're taking, whether or not you would decide between a 3 versus a 4-year. In some programs, the 4-year might include some sort of co-op or something like that. I don't know that that would be as much in the Faculty of Arts, but I know in other faculties that would be a big difference. So it just depends on your program. I live in Puerto Rico. The University of Winnipeg is asking for my 12th grade transcript, but I still have 3 months left to graduate. I finish in May, but by that time it'd be too late. Oh, okay. So if you're currently in high school, when you apply, you would have your school submit your interim grades. So your current grades up to now. Depending on what your grades are like, the admissions office may be able to offer you a conditional acceptance. And then when your final grades are available, then they would move you from a conditional to a full acceptance. If they are asking for your final transcript, then you will have to wait until that is available in order to move on. And then instead of beginning in the fall term, it might mean that you will have to begin your studies in the winter term. So you might be delayed a term, but just follow the advice of the admissions office and they will get you through that. If you have, again, any other questions, feel free to email me about that as well. I have been to a university in my country, but I'm interested in relating with the degree. In application I wrote, I haven't been to another university. Okay. So yeah, if you have been to university, you do have to declare that on your application. If you have submitted your application and realized your error afterwards, please email the admissions office and I will put that email in the chat. to clarify, because you do have to declare all of your education. That is very important. And even if you are wanting to take, let's say your degree, your initial program in your university was in business, and now you're very much interested in the Faculty of Arts, and you would like to take political science in the Faculty of Arts, for example, even if you feel they are not related, for admission purposes, especially as an international student for immigration purposes, it is required that we have a full academic history. And also your admission would be based, even if your courses do not transfer over, your admission, depending on the accreditation of the school you've attended, might be based on your grades from that school. So it's very important. If you do not declare all of your education and then it's sort of discovered afterwards, that could affect your admission as well as your ability to get a study permit. So email admissions right away, and I will, like I said, I'll put that in the chat for you. Okay. So Intel admissions at uwinnipeg.ca, that is if you are an international student. If you are a domestic student, it is admissions at uwinnipeg.ca. So both of those emails are now in the chat, and I encourage you, if you've made an error on your application, to communicate that to admissions as soon as possible. As long as you remain in communication, it won't affect your application negatively. Just get that information to them as soon as you can. How can I find out more information about double majors? You can look on our website. We have our academic calendar. You can also meet with an academic advisor. I don't know, Lloyd and Glenn, if you have anything else that you would like to add to that about double majors.
The only thing I would have to add is that there are a lot of double majors, human rights, with all other types of programs in Glenn's department, in the Faculty of Arts. It's very common.
Yeah. And whatever, let's say you are interested in a psych major, you go in the calendar, look at the psych department, and the psych entry in the calendar will say, these are the requirements for the three-year major. These are the requirements for a four-year major. These are the requirements for a double major. So even though they're all called majors, the requirements are slightly different. So if you want to do a double major in psychology and a double major in French, go over to the French calendar entry and look what it requires to do a double major. So as long as the two match and you are able to finish, the requirements of a psych double major with a French double major, you're good.
Awesome, thank you. So we'll probably, we'll get these last few questions answered. At 6 o'clock, I would encourage you to join the webinar that is on undergraduate awards and admissions and how to apply. So all of those questions about awards, scholarships, they'll be answered there. Also, a step-by-step on how to submit your application. So that's at 6 o'clock, which is in about 25 minutes. So I would encourage you to join that. In the meantime, we'll just finish off these last few questions. I'm still in high school. I've changed my current classes after already applying to the university, so I can't change it on my application. Is that going to be a problem? Great question. No, as long as your final transcript still meets the admission requirements. So you still have your 5 grade 12 academic courses. You have a 65% or above average in your English 40S, Math 40S, and one other 40S course. So the 3 of them together, add them, divide by 3, and it's 65% or above. As long as you still meet those requirements, then your admission does not change. If you said you were going to take biology in your last term and you drop that and now you're taking geography instead, that's okay. Or if you said you were going to have a 72 in one course and you ended up with 68, that's okay too. We're not going to come banging on your door for a few percentage difference in each course. We just need to know that you still meet the admission requirements. And we'll be able to see that when we receive your final transcript from your school. Will I need to contact my high school in order to get the information to complete the course syllabi? So I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that. A course syllabi, that would be if you are transferring from another post-secondary institution to the U of W, we may ask for course syllabi or course descriptions in order to determine your transfer credits. We don't typically ask for a course syllabi from high school students. So I think that answers that question, but if not, again, feel free to send me an email and we can talk a little bit more about that. I have applied as an international student from an English-speaking country. Is there a form that I can complete to be exempt from submitting the English proficiency test? So there isn't a form. We have a list of English exempt countries. If you are applying from that country and we see your documents are from that country, then we will take the English language requirement off of your application. So once you have submitted everything, all of your transcripts, the application fee, all of that, then the admissions office will make that adjustment and remove the English proficiency. If it is still required for whatever reason, they will leave it on there and you can always email them to clarify. If I heard right, I need to add my high school certification to my university reports in order to apply as an international student. Yes, so international students must submit their high school and post-secondary documentation when they apply. Once the admissions office determines the accreditation of your post-secondary institution, if you've already attended a college or university, they will determine your admission based on your previous university or college studies. However, depending on the accreditation of your institution, they may determine your admission based on your high school credentials. So you have to submit everything. If we have our transcripts, do we need our school to send our transcripts to you guys? So domestic students can upload transcripts directly to their application. International students, there are many documents you can submit by uploading to your application, and there are others that will be required to be sent directly from your school. So depending on the country you're from, some of your documents, we may be able to look at them and verify them online. For example, a Nigerian applicant, we can verify your WIAC online. Other countries were not able to do that with your documentation. And so the admissions office may require that your high school or your post-secondary institution email them directly. And yeah, and if you do run into any questions about your documentation after you've submitted your application, you can always email admissions@uwinnipeg.ca or myself, g.borges@uwinnipeg.ca. Again, all of those emails are in the chat. So Lloyd and Glenn, I thank you so much for joining us tonight. Again, like I said, you've really given us a lot of information about the Faculty of Arts and driven some excitement over it. And I'm excited for all of you future students. If you come to the University of Winnipeg, you're coming to a place that I myself consider to be home, a second home away from home. And I know that it will be a great experience for you. There are lots of people around to help. I always encourage students to get involved in student groups, meet with academic advisors, and knock on the doors of your faculty members, your professors. They're always willing to help and listen to your questions as well. So thank you so much. I think we're about ready to close off, and hopefully many of you can join the 6 o'clock webinar on awards and scholarships and how to apply. Thank you so much, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, everyone. And please, everyone, just grab a donut on the way out.
Yes. Good night.
Bye.